All right, what's up, everybody? It's been a long time. I have not made a video in a long time, but I did update my sheet. I'm I have made a brand new sheet. I gutted the old one, made a brand new one. I didn't like the old one. It was getting too messy, too hard to update. I basically did this sheet in a way that will make it easy for yourselves to update it if you want to add additional ETFs into here. So this is all updated. Now, I haven't updated this pricing info in about a month, so this is probably not real up to date. But anyway, let's just go through this. I'm going to redo the whole sheet. I'm going to go through it one by one, each thing, give a full tutorial here how it all works. But anyway, yeah, let's get into it. I hope you guys like this sheet. So let's start out here with the initial investment, okay? And I've been sick, by the way, so I haven't been able to do this. Been sick for a week. Otherwise, I would have done this probably a week ago. Anyway, so our initial investment, let's go back to the standard 100,000. Okay, we're going to say you have $100,000 to invest. We're going to rebalance, okay? And what you're going to see is these amounts all go equal, okay? And over here on the left-hand side are the ETFs. Okay, again, this is mostly Yieldmax. I did throw a couple in there that I invest in personally. Feel free to delete these or put zeros here, whatever. But anyway, you'll see. Okay. So I have a brand new system. All right. If you remember my old sheet, if you're using this at all 10 of my subscribers as of this video, there's a performance score, a yield score, and now I started thinking about it. We need something more. I need something more. I needed a better way to judge these ETFs, to come up with a, I don't know, I didn't like the price fluctuations that I was getting, and that made me realize, oh, hey, I need to do a price fluctuation score. This price fluctuation score is basically based on how much the ETF has moved in a 1 year span. So I'm basically taking its 52-week low and its 52-week high, dividing it out and figuring out, okay, what percentage is that moving? And you'll see, the worst by far is TSLY, no surprise. It had a price fluctuation of 64%. And that, here you'll see, now, here's the thing. The price fluctuation can be to the upside or it can be to the downside. So if the price fluctuation is to the downside, 64%, well, it gets red, I'm coloring that in red. Because sometimes you can have a big price fluctuation, but it could be, well, that wasn't the only reason I'm doing red, but, that generally a large price fluctuation I see as more, I don't know, I don't want to say it's negative, because let's take MSTY, right, MicroStrategy, in the case of this one, it's also had a huge price fluctuation, but that's been almost all to the upside, which is a good thing. But it's not necessarily a good thing for stability. So that's what we're trying to score here with this price fluctuation score. I kind of forget how I was scoring that. Let's see. I've been working on this sheet for a couple months, so some of it I kind of forget. Anyway, it's not that important. I have my system here to analyze the scores, okay? These will, as you change, as time goes on and you change like the price data, the performance score, yield score, this will all get calculated when you change these prices, right? And then you can say analyze scores and it'll color it automatically. And basically the darker green, the better. And I would totally agree with this. Look, 1.25. The best one of all of them by far is Yieldmax, right? Yieldmax has the lowest price fluctuation and really the best performance overall of any of them. Okay, so here we have our, well, let's see, what should we do? Let's start here. Before I get into all that, let's start here with how the performance score goes, okay? Again, performance score is based on if the ETF is, again, change this to whatever you like. This is just my score, the way I do it. most of these funds, right? TSLY started at $20 a share. They almost all start at 20 a share. If today it's below 1950, but above 18, it gets a score of 2. If it's below 18, which TSLY is, it gets a score of 3. And if it's a really good performer, like NVIDIA, okay, it gets a score of 1 because NVIDIA, started at 20, and today it's at, actually, it's probably not at 26 now. I don't know what it's at. What is it, 20? No, actually, I think it is around 26, right? 26, 27? I didn't look. I didn't look today. Anyway, it gets a score of 1, okay? And then there's the yield score based on how well you can just look up here at my formula too. If you're not good with formulas, 0.4 basically means 40%, 0.3 is 30%. So anyway, let me just say this. So anything above 40% gets a score of 1 for your yield. Anything above between 30 and 40% is a 2. And anything below 30% gets a 3. Okay, so of course Tesla gets a 1, NVIDIA gets a 1, Facebook gets a 1 because they have really good yields. And then, my new added metric is this price fluctuation score because I needed something else to make this more, I just wanted some extra depth to the sheet to really help with calculating and figuring out stability. Okay, and that's kind of what this is all about. So, once you do all that, once you weight this, we now have the new Smart Divvestor AI. So this Smart Divvestor AI will now calculate all of this together and give you a weighting over here depending on what you prefer. If you want income, you put a number 1, meaning that's the most important for you. If you don't care as much about performance, we put a 3, okay? If you don't care as much about stability, you also put a 3, or maybe you do care about stability and you put a 1, whatever. But I'm just going to show you this, okay? Let's put a 3. So 3, 1, 3. Now we run our Smart Divvestor AI. It's going to calculate all of this based on your preference. And it is going to give you its recommended weights here, okay? I think I already calculated. That's probably why, but let's, just so you can see it. Okay, let's say we got 1 for performance, 2 for income. Okay, now let's run it. Okay, and you can see it changed. The recommended weighting based on your preferences here between performance, income, and stability. And stability kind of goes hand in hand with this price fluctuation score, right? The less the price fluctuates, the more stable we consider it. All right. So we do that. Now, if we want to say, okay, I want to use what you recommended, then you just come here and you say auto balance, okay? And boom, it auto balanced and it changed everything. And you can see the updated amounts here. Your average yearly payout, your average monthly payout. This is just approximate what you can expect. And it's all based on what the average yield is, okay? All right, so let's go back here. Let's go to 1. Let's do this again. Let's do that again. And let's see. You know what? Let me do that. Let's do that. Yeah, you see. Yeah, so if I put income as the highest and these as the least important, you can see the income goes up a little bit. Now, this gives you a good starting point, right? You may not like this. I know I often don't, and in fact, usually I don't. But the idea behind the Smart Divvestor is that it's going to try to give you the most income while at the same time keeping things reasonably stable. It's not going to weight anything too much or too little, because the way it looks at it is you don't want to put all your eggs into Misty, into MicroStrategy or into Alti. In fact, I'm starting to get rid of Alti. You don't want to put your eggs into one basket. So it tries to give you a little more on that one, but not everything. So anyway, that's purposely the way I made it, but I just use this as a good starting point, okay? Now we come over here, reset the colors, all right? And now I'm going to go through these one by one, and I'm going to decide how much I want to put in. Well, it put 3 for Tesla, but honestly, guys, Tesla I still don't like, so I put that at a 1. I'm actually gonna add a little bit. I have 0 of it right now, but I actually am planning to add a little bit back into my portfolio. ARK Invest, 0. Apple, I may actually add a little back to that. I'd gone to 0 on that one. Google, well, surprisingly, I hated Google for the longest time, but I may put 1% into Google. Might start adding just a tiny bit. Anyway, this one, dud. Let's see, AIYY, nope. One's crap. Craptastic. This one, so I won't do anything with that. This one turned out to be craptastic. Let's see here. I'll just put these 0. They kind of mess up the. This is just for my own personal use. Anyway, let's see. Feppy. So anyway, now, okay, well, let's do this. No, I don't want to rebalance because I want to go through some of these. So, NVIDIA is still one of my favorites. I'm going to move that to 5. Okay, Amazon. Yeah, I like Amazon. That's a good one. Facebook, I actually put a little more into Facebook. Now, for real stability, okay, I am a big fan of adding. You want to weight a little bit heavier for Yieldmax and YMAG, right? Those are very stable. They've proven to be really good funds, at least so far. So I plan to make these the biggest part of my portfolio, okay? This one, the Russell 2000, just for the high yield, I'll put it at 4%. Alti, I'm going to move that down to 1. I really don't own much of that anymore. Look, I need the dividends from this one, so I'm going to make it a 5. But I'm keeping it lower than these two because these are providing me my stability. Actually, these 3. This one also very stable, so I put a little extra into that. Probably put that into that. The SPYT so far, it hasn't been around a long time, but this, look at this. The price fluctuation score, 8%. This one is the best by far, at least so far. We'll see how that plays out. Microsoft, I mean, hey, you got to put more into Microsoft. That's a good company. These ones, make that a 4. Okay, that's all I'm going to do for now. Okay, once I've decided on all these, right, Smart Divvestor gave me a good starting place. I am now going to rebalance and see. Let's watch these numbers over here when we rebalance. Let's see how we did if we got our. For me, I'm trying to get a little more income. I'm also trying to remain a little bit stable. So let's see what this does. Oh, not bad. So I was able to tweak the numbers and get my income up just a little more to where I'm making almost 50%, right? Excuse me. And let's see. Yeah, not bad. So once we do that, okay, once we've done this, we can go over here to our historical scenario. Now, I want to explain what the historical scenario is all about, okay? As a reminder, this is basically showing you what would have happened if 1 year ago you started with $100,000, but you just put in a little bit at a time because some of these funds weren't around, right? So let me spread these out so you can see them. Let me go back a little here. All right. Back. So the way this works is it's looking at it like, okay, Tesla and ARK Invest. Actually, I didn't put anything into that. So Tesla, it's like, okay, you took 1,000, you put a little bit in. Okay, then in June, a couple more funds became available. So then you put a little money into those. September, some more came available. You put some money into those. And so on and so forth all the way across. And it's just showing if you started a year ago and you slowly invested your money, this is your beginning balance would have been $100,000. Today, your balance would be $116,000. Whoops, I forgot to say though, that's if we're reinvesting 50%. So we don't want to reinvest 50%. This channel is all about not having to reinvest, having to reinvest as little as possible. Because if you're like me, you're living off of your dividends. You're not trying to save them for retirement. You are in retirement or just trying to keep from going to a job. But we want to do as little as possible. It's the whole point of this spreadsheet. So let's move that to 10, okay? 10%. Still not bad, right? You start with 100,000 today. I don't know why that's there. Let's move that. I don't know how that all got out of alignment. 1 second. There we go. So our total payout over the last year, and again, this is as time goes on and we have more data, eventually this whole thing will be filled out, and this will be a little more telling, right? Because this is just some of these we only have a few months to go on, so that payout seems low, right? Your total payout over the last year, if you reinvested only 10%, would have been $23,726. Here it's giving you the total amount you reinvested at 10%. Okay, starting balance, ending balance, and that's really not bad. So you've spent 90% of your dividends, and you still came out $8,000 ahead. All right, not bad. Okay, so moving on, let's show you. Oh, and this, when it, maybe I'll do another video to show you, because I do want you guys to be able to use this sheet and edit it as you want, so that when, like, say, Ybit comes out, when Ybit has more data, you can add it in here. Otherwise, I'll probably do it at some point myself if you don't want to do it yourselves. But the idea is to make it easy to add them, even for me, right? The other sheet I had was getting too crazy. It was not easy to edit. Yeah. Anyway, this was much more well thought out, version 2. So let's go on here. ETF averages. Now this, I use this to basically everything here. This is just the data to where I can get the dividends for the last year and the yield. And this is just this is all data used for this main sheet to figure out the averages here. Don't mess with this sheet. The code uses this sheet for some calculations, and it's here. But when May, in fact, I need to do that because we have some May data now. But May needs to be filled out as these. You'll see up here each ETF is listed. Okay. Their data needs to be filled out as these come available. All right, so let's go here to monthly returns, okay? Now what I have in here is the monthly returns. You can see what you would have made in April, and you can see now what you would have made in May. So with this weight here, as it is, this is the actual data of what you would have made in April. It's estimating that you'll make around $41.50 a month. The actual data for April, right, says that you would have made $4,350. So that's pretty close. It's pretty good. Up here, you can play with how much you want to reinvest, 10%, 15%, whatever. You can say how much you want in taxes. You can put down other income, and it'll get calculated into this here, because this is your total after monthly. Okay, this is your total after all your expenses, whatever. And then let's say you had $1,500 in other debt, right? It's just if you're trying to, you can figure out if you're living off your dividends, right? You can put your total debt here and your total income here, not including your dividends. And it'll kind of figure out everything about what you'll have to spend every month. So anyway, let's see, that's that. And then the best part, we have the future. I don't remember if I had this in here before. I haven't watched my last video that I did, which was probably a couple months ago. But this is your future projections. This, okay, again, it's just projections. I even put here, it's purely speculative. There's nothing super accurate about this. It's only taking the past data and then projecting the future based on the past, okay? And this is based off of here. Oh, I'm sorry. No. This is based off of the historical scenario. So what it's doing is it's going here to April and it's saying, okay, I'm going to look at all this April data and then I'm going to project from April forward. Okay. So what you do is after you figure it all out, you come here to this run, this projected future balances, and you say run future projection. Okay. And boom, it'll say, okay, May, I think you're going to make this. By June, you could be making this, and it's going to average it out. And it's going to say, okay, in a couple years from now, based on what you've done, assuming you put no money into it, you're keeping things based on this historical scenario where you've only reinvested 10%. And I think in about 2 years, you'd be up to almost $5,000 a month. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know if there was something else I wanted to show you guys. No. Yeah, I think that's it. So anyway, hey, I hope you like the new sheet. Let me know if you have any suggestions. Honestly, I don't know how often I'll update this sheet. You know, I do it really just for myself. So I figure I'd share it with other people. Yeah, let's make the most of it. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. And yeah, thanks for watching.